Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 7. We are focusing on our portfolio 1 and portfolio 2 over the next few weeks and starting to really hone in on our end game, which is portfolio 3. Just a reminder, I know I've said it, but I want to repeat it. What you're doing in this part, particularly with portfolio 2, is a part of portfolio 3. It all is the same topic. We're developing it as we go along. So when we get to portfolio 3, it's not going to feel like such a reach. You've got a little bit of it written already, and you already have honed in on some research. To that end, you do want to start conducting research. You need to have a total of 6 sources for portfolio 3, and a lot of those you're going to develop along the way in portfolio 2. So here we go. Let's share the screen, and I will walk you through the process of beginning this. So I am in Blackboard, just like I've always been. Go through contents. I know some of you really like to go through grades. It's not an effective way to find all the materials. Sometimes I put things in that aren't a gradable thing, and so you're missing out on that content. Please make sure you go through contents. Scroll down to week 7. And you're going to see we're looking at narration and definition this week. You learned a little bit about it last week, but we're going to go into it more specifically this week. And you can see that you've got your weekly overview and checklist here of what it is you're doing. You're watching this video right now. Kudos to you. You're going to watch 2 different lectures. First one is on narration, where I'm going to hone in on the skill and use of narration. And then you're going to write 2 essays. They're mini essays. They're not long essays. The first one's going to be a rhetorical analysis of a narrative piece. And the second one is where you're going to actually use that as a model to develop your own narrative connected to your topic for portfolio 3. And then you're going to do that again, specifically this time with definition. The articles that I'm giving you to read are connected to food as well. So, and the reason I'm doing that is that you might want to use those as sources for your own, depending on what you're doing. So, for instance, the narrative you're going to look at has a lot of conversation around food insecurity and living in poverty. And the second one is going to look at the ethics of eating certain types of food. So, those are 2 different topics that are out there that some of you are doing. And I wanted to include those so that you had a guide of what those could look like. So when you click on the narrative, you can see the 3 parts there that I already suggested to you. You've got your lecture video that you're going to watch and take notes on, and you've got portfolio 1 submission and portfolio 2. Your assignment guidelines are listed here for you. When you click on that assignment guideline, it pulls this document up. And you can see that it follows a very specific structure like you've become familiar with in the past. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you guys by going to the document itself. Alrighty, so here is that narration assignment. You can see here that I have given you the article that you're going to read. It's an excerpt from a novel called The Glass Castle. And you're going to read and annotate it for Space Cat, just like we've been doing since the very, very beginning. None of that is new to you. But I do want you to think about and hone in on what rhetorical strategies he's using. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to write a rhetorical précis. I've got that model back there for you again in case you need a refresher, and making sure that you're not talking about the article in sentence 1, but you're saving that for sentence 2. Instead, in sentence 1, you want to focus on the context and exigence. And if you're like, I don't know what the context and exigence is, and you're struggling with that, I've given it to you here. So your first one is an overall analysis of the entire piece. That is your first paragraph of a rhetorical précis. Your second paragraph that you're going to write in this essay is 150 to 200 words, and it's going to look at how Walls uses narration to build ethos and connect to that broader societal theme of food insecurity. So she is saying, hey, listen to me. I have experience here. How is she doing that? And you're analyzing that. So for instance, in sentence 3, if I'm saying she's illustrating the implications of children who live in poverty, in my My second body paragraph, I want to talk about how is she doing that? Is she doing it through vivid details? Is she doing that through dialogue? How is she structuring her narrative to support that illustration? That's that second body paragraph. And 150 to 200 words is not a lot. Okay, and then the last thing you have there is a note on MLA. Y'all, you cannot do MLA if you are typing it into Blackboard directly. You will not save it. It does not function it right. It doesn't have the right spacing. You must use a Word document. All of you have access to Office 365 through ChattTech. I strongly urge you to use it and then upload that document. I'm going to get more and more strict on it, and it is a part of the grading rubric that ChattTech gives us. So you need to make sure you're using it. To that end, if you go to, if you go into Blackboard and you go into content and you go into start here, you're going to find information up here for MLA that I've given to you so that you have those supports. It's right here, MLA. I've given you a sample paper and I've also given you a template. Please use those resources so that you have the models that you need. Alrighty, so that is the first assignment that you're doing. Let me go to the next one. So this is the first one where you're analyzing Glass Castle. I'm writing a two-paragraph essay. One's the rhetorical précis, and one's rhetorically analyzing how she's building her ethos connected to food insecurity. Then you're going to do your own. Your topic from Portfolio 3 is the one that you're using, and you're writing a narrative, 400 to 500 words connecting to that, introducing a moment, describing an event with vivid details and sensory language, or reflect. And then, of course, you need to reflect on the significance of that experience as it connects back to your topic. I've given you a guide here. This is mine. Remember, my topic and that I'm writing alongside of you is the gig economy and food delivery services. Here's my narrative. So you have a model of what one should look like. That's the first half of the week. The second half of the week is definition. Again, just like we did before, you're going to read an article. It's linked here for you. And then you're going to write a rhetorical précis. Let me change that. I'll change that out so it's right and not about Jeanette Walls. So you're going to write a rhetorical précis and you're going to write a rhetorical analysis paragraph in which you're analyzing how Wallace uses definition to challenge assumptions or expand our understanding of the ethics of the food that we eat. Then you're going to look at the model down here. This is an example of me using a different article with similar themes so that you can get an idea of what that would look like. Again, you're honing in on definition on this one. How is he defining things specifically? And then finally, you're going to conduct some outside research. You can use Galileo from the ChattTech website, or you can use Google Scholar if you prefer, and you are going to analyze and define specific parts of your argument. Be careful here. I don't need you to tell me what food insecurity is. Rather, if you're saying food insecurity impacts low-income individuals, you need to define low-income individuals. What does that mean? My interpretation may be different than your interpretation. Mine might be a specific money value, or it may be a comfort value. Be specific and define those terms. Write a definition paragraph. It is short. It's not meant to be long. It's about 150 to 200 words where you're defining terms, developing your Portfolio 3 topic. Again, make sure that you're using MLA at all times. And again, I've given you an example here. And what I did is I used this source down here, the sharing economy, to define the idea of gig economy and what that means. And then also what meal companies am I talking about? Because when we talk about food delivery services, I could be talking about Uber, but I'm specifically talking about fresh alternatives that give you not prepped food, but curated food so that it comes ready to cook. All you have to do is follow a recipe and use that. And I'm doing that specifically because I don't want to have a conversation about the health aspects of some of this. This alternative is one that is more healthy and time sensitive for families. So I wanted to go with this specifically. So I defined that specifically. Alrighty. So we're going to go back. We're going to reiterate what it is we have to do this week. We are in week 7. Can you believe it? You are going to watch 2 different lecture videos, one on narration, one on definition, and then you are going to rhetorically analyze a sample of each before you conduct your own writing towards your portfolio 3 topic. I hope that makes sense for all of you and you can see how the things are starting to come together. Please keep those questions rolling. I'm happy to help you. I'm seeing lots of growth in your writing and it's super exciting to be at this point of the semester with you. We're nearly halfway there. Next week is the halfway point, if you can believe it. Spring break's right around the corner, so keep going. You've got this. I'll see you next week.